The cerebellum is the second largest structure in the brain, second only to the cerebrum. And recall that the cerebellum can be broken off into gray matter and white matter, right? And that white matter is called the arbor vitae, or the tree of life. And so the cerebellum is really responsible for coordinating movement, and it helps coordinate our movements. So what the cerebellum does is it receives information from the periphery of the body and from sensory receptors inside of joints and inside of muscles. So it receives information about where you are in space. Okay? So one of the ways that you sort of can test this is you can hold one arm up above your head with your hand out. Go ahead and close your eyes, and then you can swing your other arm up and give yourself a high five. Even though your eyes are closed, you can't see your hand. Well, how did you know where your hand was in space? Because you're getting information from your joints and your muscles to say, this joint is at this angle, these muscles are contracted to this degree, and that tells you where all of your different body parts are at in space. And so that information comes in to the cerebellum through specialized nerve tracts known as the spinocerebellar tracts. Okay, so spinal cord, cerebellar, cerebellum. So these go from the spinal cord up into the cerebellum, right? So the cerebellum is getting information about where you're at in space, but it is also going to receive information from the vestibular apparatus, right, and your inner ear about your movement, right? And so it's going to take this information about where you're at in space, where you're sort of moving or how you're moving, and it's going to help send that information. So it's going to send information to the motor areas of the brain, and that's going to help coordinate our movement. So send info to motor areas to help coordinate movement. And we will talk about how the cerebellum aids in movement coordination when we get to movement in the muscular system.